Hello, hi everyone. So this particular video is going to be in continuation to my earlier video, which I just uploaded 2 days back, with the title "Entering into SAP and Learning ABAP." So today I'm going to give you a little bit overview about SAP landscape, how we execute SAP project, what is the development life cycle of an SAP project, what are different kind of projects, how is the team structure, what is the hierarchy, and how would you feel once you are into real SAP world? I mean, working with a consulting company, of course. So, and before that, I would also like to mention here that in terms of career, which SAP would offer you, uh, nowadays it's not considered as a very premium skill set. I mean, still I would say it's better than other technologies available like Java, .NET, or maybe few other ERPs for that matter, even Oracle also. But still, I have seen a saturation in the market in the last couple of years, and then especially after recession, things are not in that good shape. So, but still, in terms of, I mean, sustaining in career point of view, I would still suggest you to go ahead with SAP because uh, all the major companies or organizations which could have afforded an ERP, and then especially SAP, they have already implemented and they required a consistent support in terms of executing various mini project or upgrading their landscape or supporting their day-to-day operations. So definitely they require a team, and then obviously we will be there to support them, and which help us to sustain in the job market. So that is something in terms of career point of view. So I mean, I still don't see any issue in coming 10 years, I would say. Even if you are a normal ABAP consultant with some additional skill set like Webdin Pro or maybe Workflow or Adobe Forms or CRM. So I will be discussing it eventually. Okay. So now coming to the development life cycle of an SAP project. So before that, I would also like to discuss it from an organization point of view. Someone who is actually thinking of implementing an ERP in their organization. So normally, if there is a big organization, they would appoint some kind of audit and then consulting organizations, some consulting companies. For example, PwC, EY, Deloitte, KPMG. So these companies, they will go there, they will try to study their business process, and they will implement certain suggestions in the existing business process so that they can operate with optimum efficiency and then maximize their revenue gain. So that way, there a situation comes wherein these consulting companies also suggest them to go with an ERP solution. Especially if I talk about India, so whichever country is an ISO certified, it's mandatory for them to have an ERP. So I mean ERP within their premises. So it could be any ERP. I mean not necessarily SAP. It could be any small ERP also. But then it should be capturing all the data and then all kind of user transactions happening on a daily basis, so that there is an audit log. So that way you can understand that if that is the case with a small company, obviously big companies are uh, going to be with an ERP solution, and then if somebody has already implemented SAP, they would never like to come out of it. So that way. So for example, there is an organization which tries to implement SAP. So the first thing what they will try to do, they will first try to finalize an ERP solution. So various factors would come in that. First would obviously be the cost, and then they will try to find out an ERP which will suit most to their requirements. So somebody might go with an Oracle ERP, somebody might go with an SAP ERP, someone might go with IRS, someone might go with Ramco. There are various ERPs available, so it all depends on your obviously budget, and at the same time, basically you'd like to choose an ERP which covers most of your business scenarios. And obviously, when it comes to that, SAP undoubtedly comes on the top ranking. So I have been working for different clients from manufacturing and then engineering segment and then high tech, digital media, uh, different kind of clients I have been working for, and then I have seen that SAP is really capable of covering most of the things. So that way it becomes very easy, and especially when I talk about a web, so you can just customize anything there, you can design any solution. Obviously depends on your capability, which you'll slowly develop by going through these details. So they will finalize an ERP solution. So for example, they have finalized SAP, and then they will try to do a vendor evaluation. So basically they will kind of invite bids from different vendors, different consulting companies. I mean, the technology consulting companies available in the market. So if I talk about a couple of Indian companies, it could be like HCL Technologies, and then IBM India, Capgemini, and then Wipro. So few other companies. I mean, it's a big list there, so it's okay. I mean, once the vendor is finalized, I mean, their team, I mean, the organization takes a call, their management are okay with a certain vendor. They will sign a contract, and then they will define certain SOWs and then SLAs, and they will finalize a contract. SOW is something we call it statement of work. So statement of work is basically what is that the vendor is going to do for me. So that will be recorded there. And then SLA is service level agreement, which means whatever the vendor is going to do, there should be a deadline. So within which time frame it will be done. Obviously, during implementation, things vary a bit in terms of deadlines. But obviously, if SOW is already there in place, so we have to just meet all the points mentioned there. Otherwise, there would be an issue in the final billing and then settlement and all. So once the contract is signed, it will be the project would be handed over to the vendor. So here actually our real software development life cycle comes into picture, especially for SAP. So they will mobilize the team to the client place. Few people would be at offshore, few people at onshore, nearshore, whatever we can say. Onshore means it's basically directly at client place. Offshore means somewhere in a different location. Nearshore means it's an office which is very near to the client place. So the team would, when I'm saying the team, basically the functional consultants. So functional consultant is someone who takes care of different functional modules like sales and distribution, maybe material management, logistics. It could be project systems. It could be any other module, FICO, finance and controlling. So these consultants would get engaged with the users of that organization. That is probably uh, the I mean the company or the organization who has appointed that vendor. So they will get in touch with their users. Now we have different kind of users there. There would be a super user, there could be an end user, there could be a power user. So end user is someone who executes a transaction on a daily basis, but then there is an user who is very senior, and then he takes care of some 10 end users. So we'll just call him a power user. And then there is another user who takes care of 10 power users. We'll call him a super user. Something like business unit head, and then maybe certain team leads. So the functional team will get in touch with these guys. They will record all the processes which are supposed to be transformed into SAP, and then they will create a business blueprint, which is called BBP. You can see here BBP. So once BBP is done, it will be again presented back to the users. They will do a sign off. I mean, they will show their agreement that BBP looks good. Once the BBP is signed off, then so obviously every phase will have a sign off here. Just to update. So then BBP will be converted into the function specifications one by one. So maybe one business blueprint contain 10 functional specification. It could be just one. It all depends how big the process is. So once the functional specification is created, then again it will be recorded somewhere that yeah, this particular object should be developed, and then obviously there would be a technical team lead or maybe technical manager in the project who will take care of all the developments, and then the functional specifications will be forwarded to that guy one by one. Obviously he will record it in his list, and based on the priority he will keep on assigning it to a technical developer, which is basically a web consultant. So the web consultant, once he will get that functional specification, he will create a technical specification out of it. So, I mean, it will have a certain format. That format varies from company to company, but I mean, we can call it TES, we can call it TDD, that is technical design document. So the terminology varies from different company to a different vendor. It all depends, but then the key points would be like the complexity. I mean, there would be a description of the object and complexity, the priority, the effort required. It could be like 10 hours, 20 hours, whatever. Then testing steps, the high level technical design, and then I mean the estimated delivery date. There would be a review done by your technical manager. Once he gives a go ahead, then it will be again given back to the developer. So using a web, they will complete their development. Once the development is done, they will do an unit testing. So unit testing, there would be a unit testing document. So once the unit testing is done and your development works fine, so it will be handed over back to the functional consultant. He will again do the unit testing, and then they will move it to quality system. So basically quality is having more comprehensive scenarios. Development is just a very basic kind of layout. So it will be moved to the quality system wherein they will do an integration testing apart from unit testing. So integration testing is something basically checking the checking the effect of the development and the output on different modules. Basically how the data is flowing, how it's coming in, how it's going out, is it basically as expected or not. So for example, you are creating an invoice in SAP and then you made certain changes in the backend. So you have made change that when this particular plant is coming into picture, then the invoice should start with 9. When the other particular plant is there, it should start with 8, something like that. It could be a sales order. So these kind of testing will be performed, and then it will be handed over to the user who actually raised the requirement. It could be a super user, it could be a power user, it could be an end user as well. So they will again go through the development, they will do their own testing, and then it will be called user acceptance testing. Once it's through with the UAT phase, then it will be moved to production. But then it won't be immediately moved to the production. It will be kept on hold till the time we have all the objects ready, and then we get a go ahead that yeah, we are going to go live, and then we are going to migrate all the objects in production on this particular day. So that is one thing. The other point is basically the SAP landscape. So very typical, very simple landscape would be a development system, a quality system, and a production system. So development, again, as I said, it will be having very basic scenarios, and then a developer would be having the change authorization in development system. So just you keep a note of it. In quality and production, you cannot make any change in the code. So whatever you do, you have to do it in development, and then it will be moved to quality or production using a transport request. I'll show you what is a transport request. For now, you just remember that we have to use a transport request. It's a big process. And then certain companies, based on their budget, they will be having a dry run system. Dry run system is basically the replica of production, wherein we can do more, I would say, comprehensive testing, more rigorous testing, because we will be having all the scenarios available there. So once all the development is ready, UAT is done, in quality everything is done, we'll just, and go live date is almost nearing. We'll just go through a cutover phase. Basically, cutover phase is something. So you can see here we have cutover phase. Cutover phase is a phase wherein we migrate the existing master data as well as some important transactional data as well into SAP. So that would basically be our production system. So to migrate the data, there are certain tools available in SAP. We call it BDC, that is batch data communication. We have LSMW, we have IDOCS, we have BAPIs. We'll discuss it eventually. So once the data is moved, our development transports are also moved, and everything is ready. Then, before go live, we'll conduct an end user training session also, wherein the functional consultant will go and talk to the super users or power users, or for that matter, end user also, depending on the scenario, and they will do an end user training wherein they will give a demo of the execution steps of the transactions available in SAP, and they will also try to explain how their business process would be executed going forward. And then once that phase is done, a go live would happen wherein the production access would be extended to all the users. And then for a certain period of time, a post go live support would be provided. And sometimes we call it a hypercare also, wherein 24/7 is also support is also provided. So that is pretty much about my implementation project. So you can see this whole phase starting from here to here. It's basically my implementation phase. Coming to support, so we have just 4 steps: initiation, then we have transition, and then we have steady state, and then we have a project closure. So initiation means basically the contract is signed and then project should be executed by a new vendor. Transition means basically the knowledge transfer should be conducted from the old vendor to the new vendor, or maybe from the organization itself to a vendor. And then steady state means the project is running. Don't go with this, basically it's wrong here. It should be initiation, transition, then steady state, and then project closure. That is the life cycle of a support project. Upgrade is nothing but very similar to implementation, but then what happens, because we already have everything ready in the existing production, a new production system in the new version would be created, and then all the objects would be moved in that, and then accordingly we need to do certain settings there just to check the compatibility of existing objects in the new version. If that is not compatible, we might need to do certain changes there. So that's about it basically. Now the other important thing which you must know is a typical team structure in a SAP project. So from client side, obviously there would be users. It could be anyone. And then there would be an IT team. They will be having a CIO, CEO, whosoever, maybe their finance head, someone. But from consulting team, there would be a project manager, and then there would be technical leads, module leads, and then developers, consultants. Uh, when I'm talking about consultants, there would be technical consultant, there would be a functional consultant, and then there would be a basis consultant. So basis consultant is basically our SAP admin. So apart from basis, there would be a security consultant also. So security consultant is someone who takes care of the access requests and someone who grants the access or someone who removes the access of a particular operation, transaction, or anything, any user action. A basis guy is basically an admin who takes care of the performance of the system, who keeps on monitoring certain things and then keeps on doing a system health check, who takes care of the upgrades, who takes care of the downtimes, someone who takes care of the of moving the transport from one system to other system, for that matter, dev to QA or production. So you'll come across a basis guy, you'll come across a functional guy, you'll come across a technical guy, obviously, which you'll be your leads and all. You'll come across a lead, a manager, or maybe a delivery manager, and then a lot of management stuff. But then at the end of the day, you are the one who's going to deliver the project. I mean, so that is how it happens. So I think, including the first, including the previous video which I just uploaded 2 days back, and then this one, you should get a very clear picture of how SAP project gets executed. And then I think you should be ready with some of the terminologies, but then yeah, please try to remember this and please try to keep this in your mind so that whenever you face an interview, you should be able to explain these terminologies to the interviewer so that he also gets some confidence in you. Uh, the other aspect is basically in India, or maybe for that matter, other parts of in the world wherein they look for SAP consultant, they will try to look for someone who is already having some 2 to 3 years of experience. So that doesn't mean that you cannot apply for a job. It's basically you need to follow a different route. You probably need to join them as a contractor first, and then try to prove yourself, and then they will take you on the roles, because nowadays it's like supply is more than the demand, so there is a very stiff competition, and then you need to prove yourself. That could be one option of entering into SAP. Someone who is already working on SAP might be having less experience, who is also listening to this video, so it will be useful to you. And then obviously whatever I'm explaining, there could be some tweaking, some customization in different organizations. So but in a nutshell, this is the high level process. So again, I would like to repeat few things here which will be helpful to you, because we are going to be connected for another 1 month or 1.5 months till the time we finish all the sessions. So I would request you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So YouTube channel, you just go to YouTube, search for free SAP ABAP without any space, search it here, and then you'll see my name Adi. Just click here. So once you come here, you'll see a couple of videos already. So I was talking about this video. These videos are already existing. So this is how it will look like to you. So obviously it will be having the video, and then this one also I'll upload today. You can just subscribe to my video. So you can subscribe to my video, then subscribe to my channel, and then you'll keep on getting the updates. And then other stuff would be, I'm writing some blogs, so you can just follow me on the blogger also. So as of now, so the link of the blog is already mentioned in the discussion section of my channel, and I'll be posting the other links as well, you can see here. So I also have my Gmail ID ready, so it's basically adisap.abap@gmail.com, wherein you can shoot your queries, and as soon as I will get some time, I will just try to reply on that. I would also request you to follow my Facebook page. You can send me a friend request on tutorials SAP-ABAP, or you can like my Facebook page tutorials.sap-abap. whatever way it works for you. I will be active on both platforms. The only uh, motto of doing this is basically to keep you updated about the videos. As soon as I post them, you should be able to get an update. So it could be, so obviously things are in very initial stage, so it will take some time. And also in the blog I have given the details of my LinkedIn account and my Twitter account. But the best thing could be to subscribe to this YouTube channel, and then you'll get all the details here. So if I go to the videos which I have already uploaded, this one was more theoretical. This one was giving some idea on the indexing and table and database table, everything. But then the quality of these videos were not good. And then what I'll do, I'll just go through the same stuff once again. So we'll do it from scratch. So the other point which I wanted to discuss here is in one of the videos I have explained to how you can get a free SAP access. So few of the subscribers, they complain that they are not able to download SAP GUI. So what you can do, you can go to Google, or maybe you can go to torrents. So torrents.com. Sorry, you can just search for SAP GUI. So you can see here basically SAP GUI. You can see the option here. You can download SAP GUI from here, or else you can go to Google and then free SAP IDS access. So you will get this link. In this link they will explain everything about so basically this site consulate.com, it's a German site. They will give all the details about how to get the access and then how to download SAP GUI. So just go through it and then see free IDS access and everything. You can see everything here. So, but then the access which these guys provide is basically a mini SAP. Mini SAP means they will be having very limited tables, basically database tables, very limited transactions. So that is just for kind of getting a feel of SAP, but then it won't be very comprehensive or very helpful in terms of going further. So what I would suggest, you try to get SAP installed, SAP IDES, that is the demo version, in your personal laptops or desktops, or you can get remote access from someone who provides it. So if someone is, let's say, I mean, in people who are already in India, they can easily find it out. But then if someone who is not from India and listening to me, and they are looking for uh, remote access, and you are not able to get one, you can drop me an email to my email ID, or the adisap.abap@gmail.com, and then I'll try to forward you the details of the people who are providing it for maybe $12 to $15 per month, something like that. So that, I mean, I would say that is very cheap, and then you can utilize it for your learning. So I assure you that based on my tutorials, you don't need to go to any institute, don't need to go to any training center or some. I mean, you just simply follow my videos, and then you'll be. I would say that you'll be you'll feel very confident in SAP, especially ABAP, after maybe 15 to 20 days. Once you get more into the technical stuff. So that's about it, and then we'll go to the SAP screen. So this is how a typical SAP screen looks like. So this one we can say kind of command prompt. Here we'll just give the transaction. So first thing you should understand is what is a transaction. So it's basically very simple. You go to a command prompt, you write there run, and then you hit enter in Windows. So it basically opens that particular application. So that is one of the transaction, I would say. So in SAP also we have couple of transaction which will be having a set purpose, predefined purpose. For example, there is a transaction SE11. So SE11 means transaction which is dedicated for data dictionary. Data dictionary is again basically the SAP database. So whatever is being designed in SAP, basically it's a part of ABAP development. So ABAP is Advanced Business Application Programming. So this is how my SE11 transaction looks like. I have certain options here: database table, views, then data type, type group, domain, search help, log object. We will just go through all the options one by one. But then first we'll just try to see a little bit of navigation again today. And if you remember in my earlier video, I was talking about some of the enhancement pack and support pack. So what you can do, you can go to system, you can go to status. This one is very slow today. So you can see here component version. So basically when I was talking about upgrade project, so basically I was talking about a version upgrade that could be from ECC 5 to ECC 6, or if I go here, you can see I have the support packs installed here. So basically it's a support package. So support package is something like, for example, there are a lot of bugs in existing SAP product, and then SAP came up with the fixes. So what they will do, after some time, when they have a group of, they have a bundle of fixes, they will release a support pack. So for example, this particular support pack for BW, that is business warehouse, somewhere you will find DCC also. ECC. So basically, it's basically a bundle of fixes. Once they have a bundle of fixes, what they will do, they will release it, and then you just need to apply it, and then it will fix all the issues. So obviously it's a product, and then there might be certain existing bugs, as happens in other softwares also. So that was basically what support pack. Similarly, we have an enhancement pack. So enhancement pack is basically, let's say within SAP ECC 6.0 itself, SAP came up with some new functionalities. So they will release an enhancement pack for that. Other things you can see here, the database is Oracle, the release of the database, name ECC. So basically it's enterprise centric component, that is the full form of this. This is my host server, this is the owner. So these things will be actually taken care by the basis guys. So, and then the other important transaction which I would like you to remember would be /n. So /n is basically to close the previous transaction and then start a new transaction. If I don't write any transaction in front of /n and hit enter, it will come to the main screen. So here I can directly write a report. So SE38. So you should just remember this transaction SE38. So it's an ABAP editor. ABAP editor is very similar to any programming editor wherein you can write your piece of code. So we'll come to that. I think I have already discussed something in one of the previously uploaded videos, but then we'll just discuss again. And then another transaction which would be very helpful is SE93. So here you can see the details of the transaction code. You can create your own transaction code. So we will be creating slowly. So for example, I was talking about SE11. I can go and put SE11 here and hit on display. So it will provide the details of the transaction. So you can see it's basically related to ABAP data dictionary maintenance. This is the program name. This is the screen. We will discuss it, no problem. This is the authorization object. We will talk about it also. So this is how a transaction gets. It looks like and gets executed. So these are some of the important transactions: SE38, SE11. Okay, the other important transaction would be uh, slash because we are on the main screen, so no need to put slides here. So we talked about SE38. Similarly, we will be having SE91. SE91 is basically to define the messages. For example, you want to give some warning, you want to give some error. So that would be an important transaction, SE91. So we will be talking about that as well. So we will be talking about almost everything. So I think this for today this much of information is enough, and then from next session onwards we will be talking only we will be navigating only on the SAP screen, so no more notepad and no more theoretical concept. But then I thought of covering that as well, because I'm sure that it will be helpful to the freshers who are trying to get into SAP. The other interesting and then funny transaction is basically slash and EX, which will just close my session. See, I'm out of SAP now. So I think we are done for today, and then I'll again come back with another video which will be only in SAP. So again, thank you all. Thanks for your time. See you again.